Again, I mean, things are going crazy here in the group stages at Worlds, but H2K now 2-0 on the day, taking down what was the leader of the group. Deficio, once again, the boys from Europe doing you proud here on day 2.
Yeah, I'm just kind of happy they show that, you know, European teams can play League of Legends, and G2 has other issues very clearly when they're on stage. H2K have now fixed some of the problems they had from last week. We get to see like a much cleaner team in the way they're playing. Clearly seem to have a lot more focus on how do we actually get these late game objectives, because it's no longer this crazy clown fiesta almost where you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and there's plenty of blame to go around as far as where EDG faltered in this game, but you also have to praise H2K because the discipline that they displayed in this game was not even there last week at all. And it was not only in this game, but also the AHQ game, despite the bad sidestep on the Baron steal. They played these games and transitioned to strong laning phase into a good late game.
Yes.
And that's why they're 2-0 so far today.
Yeah, and the only team they have to play left is INTZ. So we're realistically looking at H2K being the first seed out of this groups right now.
Yeah, very much so. Of course, you mentioned that there might be some blame to go to EDG. You know, with that early game, of course, we saw a very strange early kill going to the top lane for Ottawamne, which really I mean, that opened that lane up. And if we are going to throw criticisms toward EDG, it's for things like that because they're not giving themselves the opportunity, you know, to get to that mid game at an even point.
Yeah, this is the second game they've picked the Ezreal Nami bottom lane. It's the second game both of their solo lanes then decided to lose by a huge margin. And Mouse, I have to say he decided to do that because he was in a bad situation and he completely got solo killed. And then Clearlove, especially later in the game, made some boneheaded Baron decisions when trying to two-man gank a Kennen while the rest of the team could just move up towards Baron. It was, in some ways, H2K's macro was gifted to them by Clearlove's poor decisions.
Really, in this game here, Mouse played worse than we could even expect. Like, if you play Poppy into Kennen, don't push the lane, because there's nothing for you up there. You're just going to get traded, you're going to get run down, and you're going to die. So that was terrible. Clearlove, you said this earlier, Clement, that he wasn't playing good enough, and you actually highlighted how he was a weakness. Again, he's not doing anything in these games here, and especially in the late game, in teamfights on this Elise, he's one of the guys who steps too far forward. You know, he gets caught out quite a few times with that. He doesn't have the impact we expect from a guy that we personally put as the best jungler in the world coming into this tournament. And that is just not good enough. So EDG definitely has some players who need to step up for him to do better. I still think Deft and Mako are fantastic in the bottom lane, but some of these guys on the top side, they need to be much, much better.
And we're talking about continuing to hammer this point for H2K, transitioning strong lanes into strong late game. Let's go ahead and take a look at some team fights that happen throughout the game. First is an Acer replay, the fight where H2K seized control of this game.
And I like this. When you don't have hard engage in your comp, you need like creative ways to start it. And that's like a Ryze TPing in. And at first it looks really good here, but then it's actually Kennen flying in, and the Karma gets knocked away, so there's no shielding now for Kennen. So once he gets CC'd, he does get taken out, but then look at Clearlove. Ryu hides behind the corner, so there's no vision. Clearlove walks in, gets CC'd, goes down, and this actually gives H2K the Baron.
Yeah, it gives them permission to take the Baron because without that opportunity for a Smite steal on the other side, they play this correctly here in order to pick up this Baron once they roll it through here.
They know they can finish it. Obviously, there's no jungler. And honestly, this was all Ryu getting the kill on Clearlove. Hiding behind the corner out of vision, gets the 2-second snare, and now they understand we need to finish it. No Karma to steal it.
Yeah, and you were just saying finish this, finish this, finish this. And to their credit, they actually did maintain damage on it. A fairly easy peel off afterwards as well because they did have the Karma to speed the team up. And this was really the swinging point where they got a huge lead in the game.
I think further down the line, teams are going to be looking to ban out Ryu's Ryze because it's been a monster right now. You win the lane against Westdoor, it's like, okay, it's Westdoor. But you win the game against Scout that convincingly against a counter pick, that really spells a lot of trouble going down further in the tournament for INTZ. So I don't think any Ryze for Ryu anymore.
Absolutely. And of course, EDG still made plenty of good moves to attempt to get back into the game. We had seen some, you know, good Malzahar play around the lack of QSS for Ryu at one point. And then, of course, they make the stab at the Elder Drake. And that's going to be our final replay here. But a big steal coming out from Jankos and a 4-for-1 in favor of H2K to close out the game.
And this was a little scary because I think H2K should have engaged this fight about a second earlier so that the Elder Drake wouldn't have actually had a chance to be taken. Clearlove stays on it, and finally Ryu and Jankos make it in the back. Instant flash smite. Clearlove isn't able to secure it despite having the execute damage on the Elise.
Yeah, Mouse actually did the only good thing he did all game long in this one fight, where he did manage to knock both Jankos and Ryu away from the fight, so it looked pretty bad for H2K. But as soon as they made it back in, and of course with the steal, able to clean the fight. So that was a good Poppy ulti. Sadly for them, losing the Elder Drake, that means you give over the buff. 4 Drakes, I think it was already to H2K, so that's a massive buff they're going to get from that one. And they used it to win the game, and they fully deserve to win this. And I'm so happy to see H2K play much, much better in the late game and actually utilizing having such a good early game and then transition it to winning games.
Yeah, a player of the game going to Ottawamne here, picking up solo kills in lane. Of course, maybe the first one slightly gifted to him from Mouse, but then we saw a lot of attention driven up there, making sure to keep Mouse down. A pretty large CS lead built throughout the game. And on that cannon, he's managing to make some good team fight flanks happen.
Yeah, he made some, obviously the first kill in the game was huge for swinging that lane. 50+ CS advantage on Mouse. So it's not just Mouse sucking when you're down that much CS. The other guy has to be punishing him extremely heavily. And then he was drawing so much attention, you can make the argument that ClearLove went down because he had to stop him, and that's what started H2K to get that first Baron.
All right, so now, of course, looking ahead just slightly, nothing is determined in this group with that win. Technically, every team is still alive. We'll see moving forward how INTZ plays out against AHQ and EDG, but with a seat in the quarterfinals still up in the air, the next match between INTZ versus AHQ, you can't miss it, rather. We're back in just 3.5.
He's Edward in Edward game.
Wait, he's the one from the party.
He's rich?
Yes, he is Edward.
Oh my god.
You show him how you do it in Poland.
Quick flash burn. It's going to be followed by Jankos. Ryu can't chase. No, he goes deep. He got his first blood. Oh, is he going to go down? He is. That's a trade.
And right now, it's up to ClearLove. Hang on.
Oh, no. Whoa, the one-on-one. Woo! He's asserting his dominance early this game.
Misses here. That could be a follow-up.
He's going to flash. There's a portal. They're going to go right on towards him for the dive. And Mouse is not getting out of this one alive. But Jankos is going in. They've locked up Mouse. They're going to take him down. They just need a bit more damage. Forgiven finishes the job. Jankos a little low, but they finished off Scout. Vander a little bit too low in this one. It is just a 1-for-1. The steal away. Jankos secures a absolutely massive Elder Drake.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
H2K, they beat AHQ, they beat EDG. These guys are red hot.